Sean O'Malley made headlines ahead of UFC 316 after footage surfaced of him sparring with none other than former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. In what many fans are calling a surprising yet exciting training partnership, the former bantamweight champion brought in the striking legend to help sharpen his skills before what may be the most critical fight of his career. Both fighters, known for their dynamic and unorthodox striking, posted parts of their sparring session on their respective YouTube channels, sparking discussions about what O'Malley might be cooking up ahead of his rematch against current bantamweight title holder Merab Dvalishvili.
Front leg. Oh no. That's it. Wish. Hey. One more.
O'Malley, now 18-2 with one no contest, is preparing to headline UFC 316 on June 7th, where he will try to reclaim the belt that Dvalishvili took from him at UFC 306 last September. That fight was a frustrating one for the Montana native, who struggled to fend off the relentless wrestling of the Georgian powerhouse. In that bout, Dvalishvili managed 6 takedowns and racked up over 10 minutes of control time, ultimately winning by decision and ending O'Malley's title reign. The loss was especially hard for O'Malley, who had once sat atop the division with the kind of momentum few fighters ever experience.
Exactly what we said was going to happen.
Yeah,
happened.
we won.
You got him hurt in the
That fifth round, that stings. I felt like I got out strength. I just got beat. No excuses. Great fight week. Best weight cut. Felt good. I know I can beat him. I am undefeated in rematches.
Before losing the belt, O'Malley had climbed his way to the top after suffering his first professional defeat to Marlon Vera in 2020. Many counted him out, but O'Malley rebounded with a string of impressive performances, dispatching Raulian Paiva, Pedro Munhoz, and Petr Yan. His flashy and accurate striking earned him a shot at Aljamain Sterling at UFC 292, where he stunned the world by knocking out Sterling in the second round to claim the bantamweight title. He then defended the title against Vera in a dominant decision win, avenging his only loss at the time. It looked like Suga was poised to hold onto the belt for a long time, until Dvalishvili's grinding style took it from him.
After I beat Umar, UFC asked me if I want to fight either in April or June in New Jersey. I say yes to June because 2 reasons. First reason, this way Sean has more time to recovery, and the second reason, all my teammates will be there and cheering for me and supporting me.
You know, I think everyone thinks that Suga has to knock out Merab early for him to win, but I don't know if I see that happening. I think it's going to be a war at the end of the day, and so I see that fight lasting a long time. I don't think it's going to be a second round knockout. I'd be happy if it was, because I want Suga to win, but I just don't see it playing out like that.
Now, 9 months removed from that loss, O'Malley is back with renewed focus and a refined strategy. Still training under longtime coach Tim Welch, O'Malley has taken the extra step of adding Adesanya to his camp, hoping the striking expertise of the last stylebender can help him neutralize Dvalishvili's approach. O'Malley is fully aware of the stylistic clash heading into the rematch. He's spoken openly about the difference between them. He's a finisher, Dvalishvili is a decision winner. He's made it clear that he sees his opponent as someone who just wants to grab, hold, and win rounds, not engage in a real fight. With that in mind, O'Malley plans to put the champion away decisively this time, believing that finishing Dvalishvili after having lost to him will make the win even more satisfying.
Recently, I mean not recently, a couple weeks ago, but the vlog just dropped on Sean's page. You gotta go check it out, of when Izzy came to town to train. Got to do a lot of stuff with him. And Izzy, I didn't really know what to expect with Izzy. I've seen him a couple times fight weeks and just saw him, but you never know what people are dealing with fight weeks. They're cutting weight. I didn't really know about him, but he came and hang out with us, and it was crazy just how humble the dude was. How humble he was and how just nice of a dude he was. And you think he'd be kind of maybe bitter. He's coming off 3 losses. He may be bitter or just in a bad mood, but he just wasn't. He just seemed so at peace.
He didn't seem like he's coming off 3 losses.
Is that the first time you guys had any work to the middle?
Yeah, that was the first time. We hung, like you said, we hung out with him backstage a few times. But
He's always had the temperament. He's always been the kind of guy, or did the couple losses kind of humble him? That's the way he's always been.
I don't know, but I would imagine he's kind of just been like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, he seems like just a good dude.
I've never met him. He seemed cool. I met him at the airport. He seemed really cool.
On the other side, Dvalishvili isn't shying away from the striking talk either. While most would assume he'll go back to the wrestling-heavy approach that worked so well in their first encounter, he's expressed interest in standing and trading with O'Malley. Claiming that he wants to knock O'Malley out, Dvalishvili is trying to show that he can do more than just grind out decisions. Whether that's a strategic bluff or genuine confidence in his striking remains to be seen, but it adds an intriguing twist to the rematch narrative.
I was thinking to finish him, and then same time think about kiss. It's hard, you know. If you finish somebody, how dare you to kiss the guy, you know? So you cannot do that, you know. You cannot think both same time, you know.
As anticipation builds for the bantamweight title clash between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 316, several prominent figures from the MMA world have weighed in with their thoughts on how the rematch might unfold. The opinions are mixed, reflecting both admiration for the athletes and concern for what's at stake. UFC commentator Joe Rogan gave a more skeptical take during his podcast. While he acknowledged O'Malley's improvements and the quality of his preparation this time around, Rogan described Merab Dvalishvili as something different, a superhuman athlete with freakish cardio and a relentless style that breaks most opponents. He emphasized how O'Malley wasn't even able to properly train his wrestling before the first fight due to injury, which left him helpless against a grappler of Dvalishvili's caliber. Despite the new additions to his camp, Rogan feels that O'Malley may once again be overwhelmed by the non-stop pressure of the Georgian machine.
That's an interesting fight. Very interesting fight. I do not know how Sugar Sean keeps that guy off of him, but I do like what he's been doing. Got off social media, got his hip fixed, which was a big problem. There's a lot of these fighters that take these fights because it's a lot of money and it's a big event and they don't want to cancel and they got a significant injury.
Yeah.
Sean could not wrestle. Imagine not being able to wrestle in camp and you got to go face Merab.
Who's going to get you on the ground?
He's a animal. That guy's superhuman. There's no one like him. The cardio that guy has is off the charts. It's just off the charts. I've never seen anything like it. He doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
And he's full gas, no breaks, the entire fight. It's just smothering, overwhelming people. Even Nurmagomedov, who's also an animal, he couldn't keep him off of him.
I know.
Like, this motherfucker is crazy.
Rogan also brought up how Dvalishvili smothered Umar Nurmagomedov, a highly regarded grappler in his own right. The fact that even Nurmagomedov couldn't handle the pressure spoke volumes for Rogan, reinforcing his belief that O'Malley is up against a very unique and dangerous opponent. One anecdote Rogan recalled was particularly telling. UFC legend Daniel Cormier reportedly visited Dvalishvili the day after his win over O'Malley, only to find him already out running. For Rogan, this kind of post-fight dedication shows that Dvalishvili operates on a different level, not just talented, but obsessively driven.
The Merab rematch with Sugar Sean, that's an interesting fight. Very interesting fight. I do not know how Sugar Sean keeps that guy off of him, but I do like what he's been doing. Got off social media, stopped smoking weed, just dialed the got his hip fixed, which was a big problem. There's a lot of these fighters that take these fights because it's a lot of money and it's a big event and they don't want to cancel and they got a significant injury.
Yeah.
Sean could not wrestle. Imagine not being able to wrestle in camp and you got to go face Merab.
Who's going to get you on the ground?
He's a animal. That guy's superhuman. There's no one like him. The cardio that guy has is off the charts.
There's also the question of what happens next depending on the result. According to Chael Sonnen, this might be O'Malley's last shot at the bantamweight crown. Sonnen suggested that if he can't beat Dvalishvili this time, there won't be a trilogy fight. Instead, O'Malley might be forced to move up to featherweight. Sonnen compared the situation to that of Rich Franklin and Max Holloway, both former champions who were elite fighters in their own right, but ran into opponents they just couldn't get past. Anderson Silva Silva for Franklin, and Alexander Volkanovski for Holloway. For O'Malley, Dvalishvili could be that obstacle. If the machine continues to dominate, O'Malley might find himself locked out of the title picture entirely unless he changes weight classes.
Implications of Sugar Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili 2 coming up next UFC pay-per-view.
Sean O'Malley wins this fight, or quite possibly never fights at 135 again. The only path for Sean O'Malley forward, just so he doesn't get in that terrible spot, I'll use Rich Franklin. I say it as respectful, but Rich was so good, but he had an Anderson problem. Rich could beat everybody up badly, except for Anderson. And, you know, Max ended up there with Volkanovski. Like, sometimes this happens, and this will be Sean's last shot at Merab. They're not going to go to a part 3. And if he can't get around Merab, he's going to have to go up to 145, and that's a big prediction. Sean O'Malley is our sport's biggest star. When the biggest star is having to start worrying about job security, you have something interesting.
Henry Cejudo, a former champion in 2 divisions, questioned the logic behind O'Malley agreeing to a second bout against Dvalishvili. From his perspective, O'Malley was outclassed the first time around, and nothing so far suggests that a dramatic turnaround is likely. Cejudo, who has closely followed the evolution of the division, didn't hold back in calling Dvalishvili the most dominant bantamweight the UFC has ever seen. He pointed to Merab's deep resume and tough opponents as proof of that status. In contrast, he sees O'Malley as still inexperienced, someone who's being rushed back into a fight he might not be ready for. According to Cejudo, this time Dvalishvili won't let it go to the judges. He expects a stoppage via relentless, suffocating control.
Does somebody really deserve a rematch after getting 50-45 Kamaru Usman? No, you got 50-45, get in the back of the mother line and fight the Triple C. He's not gonna get that, but he you know, the UFC, they like him. They like the teeny poppers, like they want to get into that new generation. I can see Merab Dvalishvili actually stopping him this time around, getting on top of him, just grinding upon him to a pulp.
I mean, you do make an interesting point. When you're beat 50-45, that kind of means you were dominated the whole fight. Yes, in most cases that doesn't truly warrant a rematch, but obviously, like you, Henry Cejudo, have pointed out time and time again, it's not just a fighting, a promotion company, it's also an entertainment company.
Kamaru Usman, another former champion and respected analyst, added a broader perspective. He acknowledged the talent involved in the fight, but reminded fans that matchups like these aren't just based on competition alone. They're crafted for viewership and spectacle. Usman emphasized that the UFC is built on entertainment just as much as it is on elite fighting, and O'Malley's return to challenge for the title is part of that narrative dynamic. It's a business as well as a sport, and sometimes fighters are thrust into the spotlight not just because they're ready, but because people want to watch them.
But who else was there?
Corey Sagan was that fight to make. This dude could almost just start going up against until he just beats everybody in the top 10. Which
I mean, your words. He's the greatest.
Daddy?
The greatest bantamweight of all time, right? Your words.
Yeah, of course.
Jamahal Hill, a former title holder in his own division, offered a more balanced view. He gave credit to O'Malley for building a strong team around him and adapting his training to focus on the areas where he fell short the last time. Hill acknowledged that O'Malley is making meaningful improvements, but also warned that Dvalishvili continues to evolve. What makes Merab especially difficult in Hill's eyes is not just his pace, but the fact that once he starts pushing forward, it's nearly impossible to stop him. Trying to halt that kind of pressure, Hill suggested, is like trying to hold back an avalanche. You can prepare, but the force is often too overwhelming.
I think O'Malley and his team are fairly smart, and I think they make good adjustments. So do I think it'll be exactly the same? No, but Merab is a tough puzzle, bro. That's a tough puzzle. That's a tall task to ask. You know, and he's getting better. He's constantly getting better. He's constantly growing, and he's growing in comfortable as a champion. So, you know, I think it'd be difficult to wrestle him off that mountain.
Tom Aspinall also chimed in with his thoughts, taking a slightly more critical tone when discussing O'Malley. While he found some of O'Malley's social media antics amusing, he acknowledged that the former champion appears to be approaching this fight with a serious mindset. However, Aspinall expressed deep concern about whether that focus would be enough. He noted that Dvalishvili's gas tank is unlike anything most fighters are used to. The sheer intensity and unending pace Merab brings, according to Aspinall, might simply be too much for O'Malley to handle, especially over 5 grueling rounds.
You know what, Sean? I think he has the persona of like a cocky guy, but I don't think he's really like that. Like, he's really flamboyant on social media, on YouTube and all the rest of it, but I think that Sean is like a grounded guy who works hard.
We know him he's fully locked in, him and Timmy, and right now he's just completely off the grid. He's not on social media. I think after that fight, he, got back to work like very seriously, and I think he'll come back and get the job done next time.
For me, Merab is like, I don't know what's going on with him because his cardio and conditioning is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like it.
His last fight was like one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he just goes and goes and goes. Like, he will not stop going at somebody. I've never seen anything like that guy. He's unbelievable.
In terms of strategic input, Demetrius Johnson offered a technical outlook, one of the most tactical minds in MMA. Johnson stressed that O'Malley must avoid a passive game plan if he wants to win. Keeping distance and peppering with jabs might keep him safe for a while, but it won't be enough to win on the scorecards or stop Dvalishvili's momentum. Johnson suggested that O'Malley needs to flip the script, bring the fight to Merab, mix in some offensive grappling, and try to keep his opponent on the defensive. Playing the waiting game could be dangerous against someone like Dvalishvili, who only gets stronger as the fight goes on.
Sean, Merab, who do you have in that one?
I got Merab. I worry that O'Malley could pull it off this time.
Yeah.
But I think Merab. I think there's an arrogance to O'Malley's stand-up where he hasn't been mauled on the ground, so it's not going to happen to him. But now he'll be operating the stand-up of the fight, not under this impression that Aljo couldn't take me down.
Yeah. Oh no.
I've got great takedown defense.
Yeah.
He will be operating under the condition that damn he ragdolled me last time. So there will be more second guessing on the feet from O'Malley.
Corey Sandhagen, a top contender himself, also took time to break down the matchup. While he noted that both fighters have clear paths to victory, he leaned slightly toward O'Malley's chances. In Sandhagen's view, while Dvalishvili may be the favorite on paper, he's not unbeatable. He pointed out that O'Malley's ability to read patterns, create openings, and land clean shots could turn the tide, especially if Dvalishvili gets too confident in trying to smother the action. For Sandhagen, it's not an easy fight to call, but the tools are there for O'Malley to pull it off.
O'Malley, right, gets all this credit for his hands, his boxing and I think you're right there, if not better.
When me and O'Malley fight, I'll get to show that I'm a lot better than him. When you think about O'Malley, man, like, he's had a good run at stuff, but I think if you fight tough guys for long enough, like, there's gonna be nights where you just don't win. You know what I mean? Because all of these guys are really good. And I fought the best guys for a really long time. O'Malley's not really one of those guys that gets to say that he's fought all of the best of the division. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that when he does that, he's going to have off nights and he's going to lose. I sometimes have off nights and I've lost. And that's just how fighting works.
With only days to go before UFC 316, fans are split. Some are drawn to O'Malley's style, his renewed training efforts, and his undeniable ability to finish fights. Others see Dvalishvili as a relentless force, a cardio machine who can drown anyone in pressure and pace. Whether the addition of Adesanya to O'Malley's camp makes the difference, or whether Dvalishvili once again dominates with his suffocating wrestling, remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the outcome of this fight could reshape the future of the bantamweight division.